I'm a stand-up comedian without any kids. I'm like successful. But I have to tell dad jokes because dads are the only people that have enough extra money to show up at a comedy club and be depressed about it. So I have to tell these jokes that these dads can like learn. So they can tell their kids like these horrible jokes. And their other dads these horrible jokes. You know, to let all these other dads know they have a real pulse. Let these dads know they're not pawns in the game of life. Let me tell you a few jokes. That's what dads should tell other dads, you know? Just to be like really like horrible to people. Like my jokes are funny, your jokes are not. There should be a contest. Oh man. Now, you know, if I had kids, I wouldn't be funny or cool. That's a great dad joke, right? That's a sincere dad joke. Because all these comics show up and they're like adults, but they're also children, and they show up and they look up to me. And they wish I was their dad. And then I just do drugs with them. But they're 25, you know, so they can do it, but they're still kids. I don't know why. I think it's because of the internet. I blame the internet for everything. Yeah, I blame society for not being successful. Like, that's my personal like blame for everything. I blame society. Like, society does not understand me. That's not a dad joke, though. Dads understand society, and society understands dads. Because society understands extortion. So, here's another joke. So, hey kids, what's the worst thing about doing cocaine in a bathroom? So you have to smell everything twice as much. That's the worst thing about doing cocaine in a bathroom. Actually, not seeing your kids on the weekend is the worst thing about doing cocaine in a bathroom. Also, running out of cocaine is the worst thing about doing cocaine in a bathroom. Like, but these are all jokes. I don't do cocaine. I don't do cocaine at all. Because I'm a sincere dad. Now, dads do a lot of cocaine, but I smoke bath salts. I smoke bath salts. Because they're like the salad of drugs. You don't know what you're getting. But, and I love them. But whenever I smoke bath salts, I always like to roofie my own drink before I start, just as a precaution. You know, that way, when I get that urge to chop off my dick and jump out a window, I can quit being so impulsive. I can just tamp those emotions down. You know, like whenever I'm smoking bath salts. Oh, I got to think about dad jokes now. So me and my wife have been having trouble with the love life. Because that's sincere. Yeah, me and my wife have been having trouble with the love life. So she suggested we get into role playing to spice it up. And I agreed. Because I'm me. Yeah, so now twice a week, she pretends to be a waitress in a truck stop. And I pretend to be more attractive. There's a dad joke. That's a dad joke for you. Durex. You know Durex, the condom company? Yeah, they make condoms. Durex just came out with a condom that enhances male sensitivity. Yeah, finally. Just what we've all been waiting for. For added value, each condom is wrapped in its own little apology note. Dads can actually shorten that joke. Like multiple times. They could actually get 3 jokes out of that joke. Like if you have more than one kid, give them 3 jokes. That's a good joke for you. Don't give it to your kids or anything until they're like old enough. Oh. What other jokes do I have in my wheelhouse? Oh, they say everything comes in handy for the obsessive masturbator. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So someone accused me of being a nihilist the other day because I have 7 kids. Yeah, somebody accused me of being a nihilist. I said, what are you hoping to accomplish? Like, what are you hoping to accomplish? Oh, you got me. I'm a nihilist. What do I do now? Give up? Ugh. That's for dads with 7 kids. And you were a drug addict, and now you have 7 kids, and they're all drug addicts. These are the jokes for you, dads. All right? Let's say the early bird gets the worm. The early bird gets the worm, right? Yeah, but the meth bird stays awake. So in that scenario, who really gets the worm? The early bird or the meth bird? No, it's actually the early bird. You know this, kids, because the meth bird is never hungry. Yeah, the meth bird is never hungry. He just nobody knows where he gets his worms. He just keeps getting worms out of a storage locker. You know, and some people say he like steals those worms from other worms. Like that's the rumor. And that's why the meth bird is so thin. That's a good joke for like drug addicted fathers that became sober and have 7 kids that are drug addicts. Yeah. Because those kids can make their own meth by now. I can make my own ashtrays. That's how I grew up, you know. I'm old. I mean, you could tell I'm old. I was born in 1969. That was a great year for like being born. I know I'm old because when I was in kindergarten, I made ashtrays in class. Do any of you remember making ashtrays in class when you were in kindergarten? Nobody does. It was like a super rare art period. Like these child-made ashtrays that are being sold right now for like $50. And they were all made in schools. They're all authenticated, you know? I'm not saying I have the world's largest collection. I just say I made ashtrays in kindergarten. And I got graded on it. It was 1974, so we got graded on making these ashtrays. And my grade was right on. There was no letter grades. It was just right on, dude. Swell ashtray. And it was a great ashtray because I was smart enough to get the ones with the crystals that melt into the glaze. But so my teacher was actually super excited to see it because my kindergarten teacher was on drugs. Like everyone was on drugs in 1974 because they had high employment. Anyone could be on drugs. Nobody knew what drugs were in 1974. Anyways, I got graded on it, and then I brought that ashtray home to my parents, and my parents loved it. My parents loved that ashtray, and we still have it. Like we bring it out on Christmas. Can you imagine what would happen if a kid in kindergarten made an ashtray in class today and brought it home to their parents? Like, what sort of risks would this school take to let that happen? Oh, this kid made an ashtray in kindergarten. Would the parents even know what an ashtray was? First off. But if they did, would their complaints matter? And I say yes. They're paying for that school, and they all know it. They would raise such a stink, they would destroy that school in an eco-friendly manner. They would. They would just grind that school into like dust because it's an old school. Like they have old learning and everything. They have asbestos in here. We have to get rid of all this stuff. For God's sakes, they have a kiln in kindergarten. They have a kiln in kindergarten. Yeah, what's the root of kiln? It's kill. Kill my children in kindergarten. Let's burn them all up. No, they would destroy that school. They'd grind it all up, and they'd build another school out of it. They'd build a school that was eco-friendly. It would just be like the remnants of that school. With all the expensive stuff taken out of it. Just a plastic school for kids to live in. Yeah, but it would be safe, you know? Ugh. I actually think there'd be less school shootings if more kids were just allowed to smoke cigarettes. That's my other thing. I'm lobbying for cigarettes. I think I am. I'm just lobbying for cigarettes now. Because after this COVID bullshit, we should be able to smoke in bars. We should just be allowed to smoke in bars. I don't care how much scarring you have in your lungs. You're already wanting to smoke in a bar the entire time you were in this bar. while you were on COVID trying to get it. Now you should just be allowed to smoke cigarettes. Just be nostalgic for COVID. Just keep smoking cigarettes. I agree with all of that. I'm addicted to secondhand smoke. I want people to smoke cigarettes in my cars. Whenever I'm driving, one person gets to smoke a cigarette. That's one of my rules. It's super important, you know? All this stuff is super important. You gotta have some, not everything can be a health club. I think it would save bars, just put out a few ashtrays. If you just put out a few ashtrays, bar rescue would disappear. Like no one would have the urge to put a bowling alley in a bar. It would just be super economical. Just put out a few ashtrays. Let people smoke cigarettes. Get all these lung pussies out of here, you know? Get them to a health club where they could drink like Michelob Ultra or something.